武汉出租车司机的天要塌了。
小萝卜在武汉杀疯了，700万网约车瑟瑟发抖。
What is going on? Recently, on the road in the center of Wuhan, Hebei province, some slow-moving white electric vehicles were seen amid the roaring traffic. If you look inside carefully, you will find no one in the front driver's seat. The steering wheel will rotate by itself, and there are passengers in the back seat. This is the self-driving taxi or robotaxi launched by the Chinese company Baidu. It uses advanced technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, and sensor systems. People call this kind of car stupid robot. It has rapidly expanded its testing to cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Chongqing, and Wuhan, reflecting the urgency of this technological shift. A Wuhan citizen hailed a robotaxi, a popular self-driving taxi service. Let's examine his ride experience.
我叫了个无人驾驶的那个萝卜快跑。我是在对面要上。
I hailed a driverless robotaxi car. I was supposed to get into the car on the other side of the street, but it told me it couldn't park there, so I had to go to the other side. So now I've made a big detour and come here to wait. How do you expect me to walk here? You're parked in the middle of the street. It's dangerous. Hey, stop, 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 come here. Why are you walking outside?
你停旁边来，我这怎么上车呀？
Brother, how can I get into the car if you don't pull over? How can I get on the bus if you don't park by the roadside? How can I get in the car if you're in the middle of the road? Do you want me to scan the code and get on the bus? My God, do you want me to scan the code and get on the bus here? What's going on, man? I hailed your car. What are you doing?
老子排得累死了。哎，我的天哪！
Geez, you wear me out. God, you're wearing me out. I kept running the whole stop until I caught your car. Ouch. My mom. Folks, I'm telling you, never take a driverless car during the rush hour. Either he's going to ask you to get in the car in the middle of the road, or he's going to run in front of you for a long distance, and you have to chase the vehicle after his ass. Am I right, mister? Am I right? Mister, you cannot be so alarmed. Besides, the electric car is so far away, you also brake sharply. What is the experience of riding in broad daylight? People outside look at me like a monkey, a person sitting in the back. I am sitting next to the window, and people outside have to come over to look at me twice. You see? This is treating me like a monkey. Is this the end of the line? I'm getting out of the car. Bye-bye, mister.
拜拜，哥啊。
This robotaxi is the same as the general network taxi, which can be ordered through a small program or app. However, after the vehicle arrives, passengers must enter the last 4 digits of their phone on the small screen near the rear door to unlock and board the car. After getting on the bus, the screen in front of the passenger will also prompt whether to start the trip. If the passenger does not confirm manually, the robotaxi will remain in place. Wuhan City currently has the largest number of driverless taxi operators. More than 500 vehicles are already providing services, and the number will reach 1,000 by the end of the year in a 24-hour operation mode. Since there are no drivers, labor costs are significantly reduced, and users are attracted to take advantage of the price advantage. The discounted price of this kind of car in Wuhan is about 4 yuan to 16 yuan per 10 kilometers, which is 55 cents to $2.20 in US dollars. While the price of traditional taxis and online car hailing services is between 18 yuan and 30 yuan, or USD $2.48 and USD $4.13. According to a report by the Hebei Released News, a robotaxi can receive more than 20 orders per car per day, and the total number of orders in Wuhan has exceeded 6 million. This is a significant milestone, surpassing the number of orders received by traditional taxi drivers. According to Baidu's first quarter financial statistics this year, the proportion of fully driverless orders exceeded 55% and rose to 70% in April. It's expected to increase rapidly to 100% in the next few quarters. So how many online ride-hailing drivers are there in China? According to statistics from the China Online Car Hailing Supervision Information Interaction Platform, the number of online car hailing driver licenses issued across the country increased from 2.545 million in October 2020 to 5.406 million in April 2024, an increase of 112.4%. As China's economy continues to decline and unemployment remains high, many drivers rely on online ride-hailing and taxi services to support their families. The emergence of robotaxis has significantly increased drivers' unemployment anxiety, putting them in an unprecedented predicament. They fear that robotaxis will steal their jobs. Recently, local taxi operators in Wuhan issued an open letter requesting strict control over the number of online ride-hailing services and fair competition. Regarding the unmanned taxi-related services provided by robotaxis, they requested no privileges and a specified area in which driverless taxis should be restricted. I boycott driverless online taxis with my real name. Now driverless cars are in operation in many cities. This undoubtedly puts much pressure on our online taxi drivers. Driving an online taxi is an exhausting job. These days in 2017, with the competition among various platforms, freight rates have dropped further and further. We drivers must drive 16 hours a day to support our families, barely. Forget about the hard work. Nowadays, driverless driving will make our drivers' lives even worse. The birth of the steam engine starved the trackers of the Volga River to death. Don't let driverless taxi driving become the last straw of our drivers. Later, Didi drivers and delivery boys will be miserable, especially the delivery boy. This will significantly impact them because they don't feel it yet, but it will come soon. A netizen named Che Shangyu said there are more than 23.5 million online ride-hailing drivers in China, plus those delivering express mail and takeaway food. With the popularity of driverless cars, more than 20 million families will be affected. Why is the general public panicked about the arrival of driverless taxis now? When online ride-hailing first came out 10 years ago, taxi drivers protested, but they still couldn't stop the development of online ride-hailing. It will likely be the same this time. However, the results of online car-hailing and driverless taxis are entirely different. Online ride-hailing has replaced traditional touring taxis, but cannot replace people who do not drive taxis. With the help of online ride-hailing, humans can also drive online taxis and support their families. Moreover, online car-hailing has also improved the convenience of human travel. From a particular perspective, it's a technology that enhances human life. The arrival and popularization of driverless taxis will replace humans. If the entire society were driverless, traffic accidents might not happen. This is also a benefit that most experts and reviewers often talk about. Unmanned driving technology can enter not only the field of unmanned taxis, but also the fields of unmanned food delivery and unmanned express delivery, which are slowly becoming popular. However, we can not only look at the advantages of a thing, but also whether the advantages outweigh the disadvantages or the disadvantages outweigh the benefits. If we look at it from another perspective, there are 1.4 billion people in the country. Do we need people who drive? Is there a need for more people to deliver food or express delivery? The answer is obvious. According to incomplete statistics from public information, there are more than 6 million online ride-hailing drivers, more than 4.5 million couriers, and more than 13 million food delivery workers in the country. The total number of employees in these three industries exceeds 23.5 million. There may be more than 20 million families behind it. Imagine if all three of these industries were replaced by driverless technology. Can 1, 2, 3, or 4 emerging industries create more than 20 million jobs? At the same time, the requirements for academic qualifications and technology are low. At present, no one can give a definitive answer, which is why the general public will be even more panicked about the arrival of driverless taxis this time. Netizens also listed the advantages of self-driving taxis. In addition to being cheap, they eliminate the troubles caused by human errors, avoid detours, and avoid fixed air conditioning and so on. Some people have tried riding the Robotaxi and the feedback was pretty good. The main reason is that it's cheap, only 3.9 yuan per 10 kilometers or 54 cents. However, these driverless cars also have many problems. Some people can't open the door when they leave the vehicle, so they can only call the Robotaxi for help. For example, if a person is standing still in front of a Robotaxi or has been standing there for an hour, the driverless Robotaxi will wait an hour and can't turn. Some netizens uploaded a scene on the streets of Wuhan a few days ago. 2 Robotaxis were stuck together on the street, refusing to give way to each other, causing a traffic jam. When the police arrived, they were helpless and didn't know what to do because no drivers were in the car. The other policeman was telling the stupid Robotaxi to move quickly, but the Robotaxi seemed not to understand what the policeman was saying. Some people also say that the Robotaxi driverless driving is not unmanned. A group of staff remotely controls these vehicles already on the road. Netizens questioned whether technological progress is good or bad for ordinary people.
那科技的进步到底是好事还是灾难呢？
Is the advancement of science and technology a good thing or a disaster? Now, all these resources converge on these leading internet celebrities and companies, forming a monopoly effect. Is it good for ordinary people? No matter how you look, these big companies are taking away people's jobs in the name of scientific and technological progress. I am an ordinary citizen, and no, I can't eat everything as soon as it comes up. Then the others will be more hungry.
别人饿着，对吧？
走穷人的路。
Taking the bowl of people with low incomes and leaving them experiencing poverty with nowhere to go is what our big technology companies do. The big guys behind Robotaxi have never won abroad, but they are the only ones in China who have never lost.
从来没有输过。
It's worth noting that netizens have played a significant role in revealing that Robotaxi's current price advantage results from strategic planning and capital subsidies. The purpose of this operation is to expedite the company's path to going public and to attract capital market funds. As a result, the popularity of Robotaxi has surged, leading to a 12% increase in Baidu Hong Kong shares, a 5-fold increase. According to the operating costs reported by Baidu Vice President Wang Yunping, the daily operating cost of a vehicle is close to 500 RMB or USD $68, with an average daily order volume of 20. Ordinary people know that at 3.9 yuan per 10 kilometers, which is US 54 cents, you will definitely lose money and won't even be able to pay back the vehicle's depreciation. But why do they continue to run despite losing money? Let me give you a simple example and you will understand instantly. When Didi was launched, 10 kilometers were free, and the first taxi only cost 1 yuan. Didi drivers received the total unit price and additional subsidies from Didi. Under constant and crazy money-burning subsidies, Didi lost hundreds of billions of yuan, or 13.8 billion, in 6 years. But what's incredible is that Didi founder Cheng Wei is worth as much as 30 billion, or 4.1 billion US. Why is this? Today, I will unravel the mystery of capital and let you know what money they make. Suppose you have a project. You may not even have a product, or even the project is in its infancy. However, you have already spent all your money. If you go to the bank for a loan now, it will not grant it to you. So, you find investors to sell 20% of the equity. Raising 5 million yuan is equivalent to 670,000. At this time, your company's valuation is 3.5 million. But at this time, investors have not made any money yet. In the next financing round, you sold 20% of your equity and received 2.8 million from venture capital institutions. Even though your company is still losing money, its valuation has reached 14 million, and the 20% equity in the hands of the original investors is worth 2.8 million. At this time, the company may have only been established for 3 years. When other investors came in and continued to increase the valuation, the company's listed assets finally soared by 50%. This is why, despite the initial loss of US 15.9 billion by the Chinese company Meituan after its listing, Shen Nanping of Sequoia Capital saw the long-term benefits and invested. His 1 million investment turned into 8 billion. Similarly, JD.com, which initially lost 4.1 billion, recently earned 2.4 billion from its 10 million investment after its listing. This is the secret of capital operation with long-term benefits. The purpose of investors investing in you is not for the company's dividends, but to increase the valuation of your company, sell it to subsequent investors at the highest point, and finally earn an equity premium and price-earnings ratio.
最后赚股权溢价和市盈率的钱。
American economist Davy J. Wong said in an interview with overseas Chinese media that the US, including Google and Tesla, is researching driverless driving. However, it's subject to various laws, regulations, and safety standards in the US. They have more considerations. However, in China, the government can modify rules and regulations. From laws and funds to rights of way, they don't have to think about it, which means they have a better testing ground. According to David Wong, China's officials are now considering the possibility of taking the lead in the world through electric vehicles and unmanned driving. Because the driverless car has not been implemented in many countries, the Beijing government allows it to drive on the street constantly, trains the machine, and improves the technology, so it's possible to be more mature in the future. The target market is not domestic but global. The Chinese government will not consider whether it's dangerous for people to ride in this robotaxi and does not need to think about too many laws and regulations. As for the unemployment rate, it's not a key point for the Chinese government to consider.